Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ginge and Pedro show. I'm, of course, your host, Mr. Ginge, Gingerton. Alongside me is nobody yet, but we will have Pedro Ang hopefully popping in here soon. Word on the street, he was very sweaty, and he didn't reveal why. I have some thoughts, but we'll keep that for another day, I suppose. But in the meantime, we do have a interesting guest here, our comic book sort of combination, a writer artist. He's been popping by the chat. We tried to have him on a couple weeks ago, but I had some technical difficulties, so he was kind enough to lend us his time again here. And let me go ahead and get my thing ready here. If everybody would please give a round of applause to Mr. Edwin Acevedo. Hello. Thank you for joining us, Edwin.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Just let me correct you real quick for a second. I am just a writer. The only art that I do is a stick figure. So if anybody is interested, you can hit me up for that.
Okay, my bad. Hey, I feel you. That's about as far as I can take it myself. That was my wanted to start as an artist and did but not in any real way. I stopped drawing like the summer between 4th and 5th grade. I just stopped drawing, started again. And then like that, first day back at school, instead of doing my work, the moment we got released, I just flipped my paper over and tried to draw. Felt like I lost it and was like, I didn't draw again until I was like 19.
I mean, I do it throughout high school, but by the end of my senior year, it was clear that an artist's life wasn't for me. So I had to choose other options. So.
I understand. Okay, buddy. So that's actually a good way to just go ahead and kick the show off here. Could you tell us a little bit about, obviously you're a writer. Could you tell us growing up, did you always have the bug, or was there something that really inspired you? How did you get on your journey?
Started kind of when I discovered comics. My first comic was an issue of Spider-Man. I think it was Superior Foes or Deadly Foes of Spider-Man #4 of a 4-part limited series, which was insane to jump into that. I had no idea what's going on, where all these people want to beat up Spider-Man, but I dug it. I came back and then discovered the X-Men, man. Discovered Will Portatio on Kenny X-Men. I think it's about 281, maybe 282, somewhere around there. The one with Storm and Bishop on the cover. And that just got me hooked, man. Ever since then, I've been fascinated by comics and storytelling. I dreamt of being like one of the artists in the Marvel bullpen, all that kind of fun stuff.
Right on.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's always kind of had a big part of the kind of stories that I like to read and enjoy. So yeah.
So was that part of the Claremont run, that X-Men at that time, or was that like post him? Or
yeah, he was kind of finishing up, around then. So yeah, and then it was just X-Men #1 and all that kind of stuff just kind of took off, and it was X everything, man. Back in those years, it's just anything with an X, I'd try to get it, So yeah, it's a lot of fun times, a lot of great stories, fantastic art, which is, like I said, all those kind of things. I hope people can tell them in the projects that I'm trying to pull out, trying to have all those kind of big grandiose stories, the incredible art, the sick covers, all that kind of stuff, something to this day that I try to emulate.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, definitely the 90s, obviously, especially within CG, is a massive influence. For me, I started on Spider-Man for comics as well with J. Michael Straczynski's and J.R. Jr.'s. I got a volume 1 paperback of that Amazing Spider-Man run. And it was like, I was probably 12-ish at the time. But that was like, again, a big story with like big ideas. And I'd only really been familiar watching the cartoon shows growing up. But yeah, huge inspiration. A great time in comics for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So when you started writing in earnest, was it something you were also doing alongside your drawing throughout high school, or was it after you decided art wasn't your path that you tried writing? Or
I mean, I dabbled in it, like I said, but it was never any kind of like real formal training. It's mostly just, I had all these kind of fun ideas in my head, so I just started kind of taking notes on them. I had my own kind of like rip-off superheroes. I wish I could remember what they were. I only remember one of them. But yes, and I would just write these little kind of side stories and stuff and draw badly and try to like do my own little kind of like flip books and stuff. Yeah, so it was just just the idea of the writing thing really came later, but the idea of telling stories to me, I've always liked. I was always a very creative person who could come up with like an idea on something and just kind of run with it. So that's always been. It wasn't until like I started kind of doing them independently that I really kind of started to hone in on the actual writing process. But the storytelling and all that always kind of came natural.
So it kind of sounds like at some point it just kind of came bursting out of you, and you just figured, I keep having all these ideas. Let me just write them down.
Yeah, it's really kind of because I'm somebody who always writes notes about stuff. So I have like tons of like post-its and all like just crazy ideas. Even if it was never gonna lead to anything, I always felt like if I had like a cool idea, write it down and put it like in a notebook or something. Just keep it there just in case. And a lot of that stuff actually kind of came to fruition once I kind of found out about comic skating and indie comics and all that stuff. It's kind of all these ideas and stuff and all this note taking and all this stuff actually kind of paid off, because by the time I launched my first book, I'd already been kind of fine tuning stuff for about like 2 years. So
nice.
Those ideas, everything all kind of came together.
That is actually a really great point. I have a similar sort of journey myself, in a way that I started writing like with a purpose pretty much when I found CG. But up until that point, I've had a bunch of ideas that, I would just make notes of. I'm the same type of, notebooks, or just like the notes in my phone's got a bunch of ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tons of like documents on my phone, just like the Google Drive, all sorts of titles and stuff. You're just like, it's madness. But yeah, it's just it's good to have a place where you can funnel everything and then always come back to it and be like, all right, that kind of works, that doesn't. You can kind of trim the fat of it. But it's good to have the idea, because I don't know how everybody else's mind works, but mine, if I don't write it down, I'm never gonna remember it again. Like it's gone. So it's good to have a backup.
Yeah, but that is a good piece of advice. And speaking of something come funneling back, I think something's come crawling back here, Mr. Pedro.
Hey guys, how you doing, man? Dude,
hey,
I
man,
refuse to stream smelling like a boot again.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing's like,
that's fair.
No, you guys are in daytime savings, and I go to the gym at 4. Mm-hmm. So your 6 is my 5, and I had to stream yesterday like without taking a shower, and dude, I couldn't stand myself.
Oh, you're good, buddy. I'm hot as a sumbitch myself here, and
yeah, dude, it's horrible.
Will be due. Yeah. Edwin, what state are you in, sir?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. It's nice and cool.
Oh, no, it's brutal. Hot as fuck over here.
Hot as fuck right now? Oh yeah, you guys are in summer. Like we don't get the Panama is like hot and hot as fuck. There's no like cool moment in the year. But we're talking Vikings today, man. Like I've been singing the boat song, like my mother told me someday I will buy. Like yeah, dude. Like the Vikings are the shit.
Yeah.
And for the record, being the brown guy in this stream, we don't need no brown Vikings, okay? It's not needed. Stop it, Hollywood.
There we go. Straight from a brown man's mouth. Using himself here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm normally a lot browner, but I haven't been out in the sun, so you gotta get out more.
Mm-hmm.
I might fill in.
Get the sun rays hit me, and you'll see the Puerto Rican side come out.
Exactly. Like, dude, there's so many stories that can be told about brown people that are awesome. Like I was watching Pizarro's Conquest of Peru. Like they haven't made a story about that, because everybody thinks like, oh, the Spanish came in and they kicked everybody's ass. Like, dude, Pizarro's enterprise was like 150 people. Basically, the Inca Empire was kicking everybody's ass, so everybody allied themselves with the Spanish to kick the Inca's ass. And there was like a power struggle between Atahualpa and his brother to see who was going to be the king of the Inca Empire. They took advantage of all of that. Like it's a Game of Thrones level story. Nobody has done that, because we need brown Vikings, So it's dumb. Don't do it.
Interesting, though. I'm a big history buff myself, as you know, but very nice. Let me say hello to the chat real quick. We've got
let's do it.
Your face
do it.
popping in. Joseph Dredd, everybody, the
Hey.
law. Hey, Joe.
I am the law.
Appreciate you. And that's all so far, but we could say hello to Pops. Howdy,
Hey, what's
Pops.
up, Pops?
Yeah, there he is.
What's up, Pedro?
Hey.
Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and sort of segue into how you came into CG. Was it just a stumbling online? Was it how'd you find CG? And then what was the
I
sort
discovered it through Ethan. He had just launched his YouTube channel, and
Right.
by literally, I mean I saw like the first video, like after he launched it. So like literally when he launched his first channel,
and the pencil of scorn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
his little shopping trips and all that kind of early stuff he did. Yeah. Back when he used to have live streams and he could name everybody in the chat and just be like, there were like 12 of us or something, So I discovered it through that. I'm a big comic book fan, a big Green Lantern fan. I love what Jeff and Ethan did for those like early comics. Rebirth is one of my all-time favorite stories. And I'd kind of fallen out of like love aside from like the stuff Jeff was doing. Everybody else I was really feeling it. And I found out about Zach through him and different other kind of like comic book reviewers. So I just kind of started, following them and seeing what they were saying about comics, and everything they were saying made sense. Like there was a lot of weird stuff going on. It's a lot of agendas, a lot of just stuff popping up that really wasn't conducive to sales and interest in the book. So that's kind of where I started with that. Then I joined Twitter, and then it was downhill from there. So.
Sure. Twitter is the jump into the nether realms, so to speak. It's like you can kind of hang out on the fringes, but once you hop in Twitter, it's like you're in this bitch now.
Yeah, dude.
You're in.
I mean, to me, Twitter is like a pool of shit. I mean, it's shit, but it's warm.
Yeah. It's fun with friends to sort of swim around in, but no,
I don't know, man. Like I block like 80% of what I see on Twitter. Just everything is a freaking cesspool, but that's the way to like promote your comic books, man. Because Facebook is for old ladies, and Instagram is for people who don't buy books. So
they love
Twitter is a
so
place.
I hit the heart on pictures. That's all. It's about Instagram's good for.
Yeah,
I'm never been an Instagram guy, and I've sworn off of Facebook many years ago just because it was driving me insane. So I'm just like,
you have the cheekbones for Instagram, Ginge.
Really?
I just want to tell you that you can have a career on Instagram. Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily like the sound of that. I mean, we could have a comic book career, but that's hopefully where it stops. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a friend here
What's up,
friend of the
Star?
show. Hey, buddy. Thanks for coming by. The brilliant star that shines through the night, the jagged rock in the boot of crime. Rise stands before you. All right. So, and very nice, Edwin. That's pretty much how I came into. I remember finding Ethan's, the what pro comic artists, his first shopping trip, just out of the blue, like, ooh, this is interesting. And I didn't start with his Green Lantern, but one of the ways I actually got into Flash, just like randomly back in the day, was like catching, top 10 Flash stories you never read, a YouTube thing. And one of his and Jeff's, was it Flash? It wasn't Flashpoint, but it was the other one, that the Flash Rebirth. Yeah.
Rebirth.
Flash Rebirth.
Yeah, that blew my freaking tits off.
And, dude. That to me is like everything's so foreign, because when I heard of Green Lantern, like Ethan's run of it, it was a student in my school, like, hey, check this out, and it's like, focus on animation. Like, I mean, I was full like on animation teacher mode, but I read it and it was awesome. It's like, yeah, Ethan Van Sciver, cool. And like all these years now, like, hey, Ethan, so yeah, dude, that guy was big even then, and I don't mean fat. But he's fat.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So we still got about another like 15 minutes before we talk about the project, the current one. So that does give us a little bit of room to talk about the Ace, if you'd like.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that was that your first, once you got into CG and saw the doors essentially open for anybody that walks through it, really? How soon did you start making the Ace? Was it immediate, or tell us about that?
No, when I first kind of dipped my toe in, I was just happy to meet like-minded people. I just wanted to meet cool people who love comics. Like I started making friends with all these artists and other creators and stuff. I met Sweens, who did Oddity. Me and him, he was like one of the first people that I got to know and stuff. And he's the one who actually helped create the Ace, his original look and everything. But initially, I was just there to support creators and stuff, and seeing people jumped off, and then I saw kind of like a lane open for stories that I wanted to read that that didn't really have like a lane, and I just started coming up with this idea for the Ace, and just kind of, it took like about 2 years before it was ready to like start announcing it and to start telling people that it was, I dropped the mailing list and stuff. So it was a long time, just working on it, making sure that it was right. It wasn't trying to rush anything. And, it wasn't until I felt like confident that it was good, because, I got a lot of feedback from a lot of the people that I knew, like Passion for Drawing and stuff like that. Sim, I was behind the scenes with him. We all formed like a friendship and stuff. So we all kind of saw each other's ideas and projects and stuff. So yeah, once it was ready, that's when I kind of launched it, and it's been a blast, man. Just getting the idea that you could create, the thing that I was like 13 years old trying to create, actually came to life much later in life, but it was real.
Yeah,
Aces is my book, it's my baby. Yeah.
But you know what I say to that, like, if you are like 16, 18 or whatever, and you make a comic book, I don't think you'll savor it as much as if you do it after you have like experiences, and you know what I mean? You're yet to live. So how good can your comic be if you haven't had the experiences to like put them into comic book form? I think we're at the age where we should be telling stories.
Yeah.
Before, like, the elders will gather the kids around the fire. So right now we don't have a fire, but we're telling stories.
And like the point of reference for everything is like it is completely different. Like, compared to like that kind of young mindset, I wish I had the energy. That's the one thing I wish I had. That energy. Dude. I could use that. But as far as like, my knowledge of bases of where I can dip into different things is so much bigger. It's not even funny. Like,
that's what I tell the ladies
back then.
That's what I tell the ladies. Like, dude, I have the knowledge, but I don't have the energy anymore. So
just gotta
let me rest in between bouts.
There you go.
And I'll make you happy.
No doubt. It's all, no need to rush things.
No need. Yes.
Okay, how about this? Let's get a little bit of.
Oh, come on.
There's a guy right there. That dude kills me. It's a bit of a longer laugh, but there's a guy.
Right now, you are killing me with that.
I know.
Yeah. Exactly. No, don't do that, dude. This is turning into something completely different.
Yeah, we're having fun. Okay, so let me.
You are.
Let me go ahead and pull up your current project, Raid of the White Leopard, on my comic. Okay, so could you take us from the top, sir? Give us the pitch, and then we'll hit the trailer, and then we'll be off to the races.
Yeah, so Raid of the White Leopard is the story of a band of Viking raiders who get caught up in a massive storm, and then they wash up on a mysterious island. So yeah, that's kind of what the pitch of the book is.
So this is like a bloodier, I don't know, I'm getting this vibe that this is like a bloodier Jason and the Argonauts kind of thing going on here.
Yeah, I've heard those comparisons before, actually. I never really thought of it, but yeah, a little bit. It's definitely like a mystery, it's an adventure, all these kind of fun, weird things kind of put together.
Is there any like supernatural element to the story, or it's just like adventure and hack and slash?
There's some like mysticism, you would call it. So,
awesome, dude.
There's a lot of different little elements that come throughout the whole story. Kind of get a little bit more as each kind of issue will come.
Very nice. Gotta squeeze that juice out.
Let's play that trailer.
Yeah, man.
Pump that volume.
Raid of the White Leopard, Book 1, is the story of a band of Vikings that get caught up in a storm and wash up on a mysterious island. Written by Edwin Acevedo, the writer of The Ace, with art by Avery Butterworth from The Lost Pages. Back it today on fundmycomic.com.
Dude, you got the right artist for this story, man.
Yeah, Avery is a beast, man. The stuff that he
Jesus.
did in this is just
Dude.
insane.
Very detailed. The lighting is very moody. Like, this is not gonna it doesn't bode well to anyone. Like, that's what the art's telling me. So, dude, awesome job finding that artist.
Yeah.
And he worked with the Diaz brothers.
Yep, he did. He helped do some of the people kind of Ash Can and stuff like that. Him and Dan Dahl, they kind of like tag team on those pages. But yeah, Avery's a super talented guy, and just like he was the perfect guy for this story. I'm just like can't wait for people to see like everything he did on this, man, because the pages are insane.
That's awesome to see, man. Like, the artists are starting to get like traction. Like, the guy that worked on so and so, like, like we're building up history over here. So that's cool to see. Like, we're getting this cross pollination of IPs and artists and ideas. But is he using Cipitone? Like, I don't know. It's kind of like the JPEG is kind of small, but it looks like he's using Cipitone on it.
Yeah,
I appreciate a lot.
Yeah, he does a lot of like the gray tones and all that kind of fun stuff on these. Yeah, it's like, he's actually a very talented colorist. But to me, like, once he sent me the pages in the gray tones, I was like, this is it, man. Like, this is it sets such like an atmosphere, to the pages. Like, I don't want to see it colored. I think it's just kind of perfect like this,
Yeah, no, it's definitely gives it a unique sense to it. The whole thing very heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get a little more into the story and the characters, and specifically, could you tell us about this big ginger behemoth here?
Yeah, so that's Arik. He's the leader of the band of Vikings. You kind of see the story through basically 2 points of view in this. Is basically like you see the Viking kind of side through Arik, and then you see kind of like everything that happens on the island through the White Leopard. So I wanted to kind of set up these two kind of distinctive kind of people, and then eventually you kind of see where they both come from and kind of what leads to the conflict that they have. So, but yeah, it's, like I said, I'll probably get into more of his background in book 2. But Arik is very kind of I like to call him like a true believer, someone who really believes like in the gods and in destiny and being great. He wants to see in Valhalla. So basically, he's developed a trust and a respect from his crew that they'll do it basically anything that he asks them without question.
So I can't like help but notice that he's a redhead. So if you make a movie, who will play him? Like Idris Elba, or maybe Sam Jackson?
Depends if I sell it to Netflix or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what they'll want?
Yeah.
Okay,
awesome. Yeah, I love that, especially the cover. That's by Donald. I just love like the just kind of big grand nature. It just grabs you. Him just slicing and killing people, and just like, that's exactly what I want. Just something that leaps out. If I saw this like on a spinner rack, I'd have to take a look at this and be like, what is this? So that's why I always try to go for these covers. Beautiful colors by How Comics, Alan Alonso. Cool. Just setting that tone for the cover.
Yeah, very nice. I'm also really digging this sword here that obviously has a little trigger.
Hilt. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's got that trigger.
Yeah.
It's like a laser sword, right?
Probably. I don't know, man. Like, I'm intrigued. Is this like an anachronic tense story, or is it like time accurate? If you know what I mean, what I'm asking. Like, is that sword brings questions, Like,
yeah, so, I mean, basically, it takes place where you would assume a Viking story takes place.
The Viking saga, the era, the 700s. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So, did you do a lot of looking into? Are you a history buff yourself, or could you tell us a little bit about the?
I mean, I've looked into a lot of the stuff for Vikings just because I like Vikings, you know. But this is like a comic book, first and foremost. So the idea of kind of taking these kind of like, we set up like a realistic kind of take on Vikings, and then we kind of introduce kind of the comic book stuff into it. So it gives it a different look, you know. So like, but yeah, they're traditional Vikings. They have no superpowers, you know. Odin and Thor aren't gonna, tag team with them and
Yeah, exactly.
and stuff, like, we're not gonna get like crazy like that. But we're gonna have some stuff with the islands, really kind of like where everything kind of changes. You know, we kind of take this kind of realistic element and then we kind of bring it over to like the comic book side. So
that's the thing. Like what really helped the Vikings through that era wasn't really like they were better than anybody else. Like they destroyed the Saxons, but the Saxons were warlike people too. Like they invaded the British Isles before. What helped the Vikings is that their mobility, because their boats could go anywhere, and the Saxon boats couldn't. So they could go like way inward with their boats, mess everybody up, and leave. When the Saxons were there, like they were already gone. So that's what helped them like basically dominate that era. But that era mystique of the Viking, it's very cool, and everybody is like in love with that. Like, so it's awesome.
It's a great kind of like setup for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the things like the uniforms of the guys he's killing are raising a lot of questions, man. It's just like they're not really Roman. They look more like a combination of Greek, but it's combined with a little bit of like 17th century, 18th century soldiery. So I don't know. Like that's why I feel like this story is anachronic. Because that choice of design is very telling that these guys are not from a definite part of history. Like that's the fantasy element you were talking about. So yeah, man, I'm intrigued.
Yes. Okay.
Really
So we got Greg in the chat. Let me say hello to
Greg.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Mobility is definitely one of the most important advantages to have.
Hell yeah.
I learned about something today, just sort of might relate to what you said. I found this guy on YouTube who I guess in the UK they have this channel that travels along the east side of the country up to the north. And if you have thinner sized boats like what this guy has, they have some type of license there where you can basically live on the water. You just have to move every 2 weeks. And he travels this channel pretty much up and down the UK. And it's like that side of it would be facing the European side, the right side of that. Yeah. So as you're talking about the Vikings zipping around there with mobility, I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, that's how they did it, man. That's how they just hit and run, man. And they had a proclivity of hitting monasteries. Is that where the gold was? And monks are not armed, so yeah, it was a massacre.
Shaolin monks. The Chinese learned that.
Oh yeah, they didn't attack China. I have never heard of Vikings in China. That would be insane.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you tell us a little bit about the main cast aside from Eric, I believe?
Ulrich, like I said, mostly for this issue, we kind of introduced some of the other kind of Vikings and some of the other kind of players in book 2. The first book is just about kind of setting the tone and setting the two main players, which is Ulrich. You kind of get to see some of him. Most of the dialogue involves him. You kind of like, kind of see everything through him. And then the second part, when we get to the island, we introduce you to the White Leopard. And then we you kind of start seeing the story through his eyes. And then kind of, it's kind of like those two are like the main stars in this first kind of book.
Very nice. Okay.
Dude, it's so ominous, man. Like, I'm loving the art.
Here we go. Here's the White Leopard, right?
Yeah, that's him.
Cool. Whoa.
So when you're, as a writer, when you're writing things out, I mean, this is a hell of a page, dude. Could you describe, like, in the script, how you had this page wrote out, or did the artist just take it and go wild? I mean, obviously you did. But...
Yeah, it's mostly like just setting up like, the idea of the white leopard and his soldiers, kind of launching an attack on these pirates. So it's just basically like a basic outline of like what this page needs to be, and then he can format it however he likes. He can break it down into panels, or he could just kind of go wild and do a splash for it. Some of the other pages were more detailed. They're panel by panel, each description, but sometimes you just kind of, I like to let my artists like surprise me, so I just kind of give them like a couple basic notes, and especially like, this is like 10 pages in and stuff. So I'd already seen what Avery had done. So I'm just all right now, just let him loose here. Let's see what he does with it, He kind of built that trust, and then you just let the guys do what they do. So
absolutely. Great. So who's the letterer on here? Because there's actually some really great sound effects as well.
Yeah. The letter is SK. He's lettered Bloodbone and the Ace Volume 2 for me. So he's done a great job.
Very nice. Absolutely.
Definitely adds the little touches to each panel and stuff to kind of make it flow. So I've been having a great time working with him, and hope to do some more in the future. So.
Beautiful. Okay, great. Looks fantastic, bro. The character design. So when you were creating each character individually, did you give a large description, or when you got the stuff back, was there a lot of back and forth on the editing, or could you tell us about that?
I just mostly give them notes. Like each character had like a description, especially for the Vikings. Even though like I don't go into like heavy detail about them, like I said in the first issue, he already had like basically like sketches of each one and kind of what they represented and who they were. So each one got like its own kind of breakdown. Like Alga, who's the lone female, she had like a whole description about what she is and who she is and what she looks like and stuff. Some of the other kind of players, like I said, they'll get more kind of like a meteor role in book 2. I just kind of wanted to focus on Auric and the White Leopard, because I wanted to focus on that dynamic, and then you can kind of like and touch on like the other kind of players after.
Very nice. I got a question, but let me say hello to the chat, because I see somebody here, Mr. Oh yeah, hold up. Here we go.
Chris,
hey Chris, thanks for coming by, buddy. We won't talk any shit this week. We talked a little bit of shit last week, didn't we?
We'll try not to.
Okay, we'll try not to. No, I'm just kidding. You know, kidding. Says, what's good, Red? Okay.
What's good, Red?
So, Edwin, you pretty much growing up in comics as a X-Men, big fan of the X-Men in team books. Did you find yourself relying on any of that, experience in a way when you were writing a teen sort of centric book here? I know it's got the main character, but obviously you had to play on some interpersonal dynamics and things.
Yeah, for this, there's a lot of actual inspiration. For the Ace, there's a lot of like X-Men kind of touches on it. Just a lot of like the covers, some of the color schemes, just different little touches. Like if you've read kind of like the 90s X-Men, you'll kind of notice little hints and homages to it. For this, actually, a big inspiration was 13th Warrior. So absolutely one of my all-time favorite movies. The idea of like Banderas meeting these Vikings and them kind of them fronting like a brotherhood, even though that the story's not like that, but I just love the tone of that story, and the violence, the kind of brotherhood, the idea of characters finding out about each other's culture, all that kind of interesting stuff. Yeah, so that's probably like one of like the bigger kind of influences on it.
Very nice. I've never heard of the movie 13th Warrior, 1999. Vikings meet.
Fantastic, yeah.
Oh, Antonio Banderas. Okay, shit. Right on, man. Yeah, 90s movies. I think, well, a lot of people seem to revel in 90s culture, me included. I was born in 92, but I mean, I think 90s horror is like pretty much it all kind of reset in the 2000s with like gritty reboots of things, and it really changed the tone of how they started making horror movies. But I feel like the 90s was a peak of the decades prior, just really honing in on fun, crazy shit in the 90s.
Simple.
Okay, so
yeah, highly recommended. Anybody. The great thing about it, it's not 3 hours. You can watch it in like less than 2. So it's a very easy watch. You can just pop it in and it'll grab you.
I like it. Alrighty, so we got. I know the artist, but it's also because I know the boobs, Mr. Boob Dan.
The one and only.
Very
man.
nice.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to have a signature. These are his calling cards, really.
Yes.
Yeah, I see 2 of them. Yeah, it's unmistakable. Boob Dan.
Alrighty, so let's see, Pedro, you got some questions, buddy? What are you thinking?
Dude, I'm thinking this book looks awesome, and yeah, man, like I really like the mood. It's not really a question. I'm just I'm commenting on the fact that I really like what they're doing with the lighting here, because it's just like ominous. Like I know this is not a horror film, a horror like comic book, but dude, like I'm feeling like nobody's gonna survive. I don't know, like that's what I'm getting.
Definitely gonna be a lot of bloodshed. In this
Yeah.
book. So, it's not gonna be no pretty. There's nobody's safe. I'll say that.
Exactly,
Nobody's
exactly,
safe.
and it's showing that in the art. So, dude, excellent job, man, excellent job. What you're doing with the negative space, the silhouettes, the shadows, it's just, dude, awesome, dude. Was that something that was deliberate, or was that like a happy accident?
Oh, a lot of that's just Avery putting his touches on it. He loves a lot of like the silhouettes. He loves a lot of like, especially playing with the panels and like I said, after a while, after I'd seen like what he did on the pages, I just kind of let him loose. Like I was just like, I just started to trust his vision for it, because the pages just got better and better. It's one of those things where I just kept getting them, and we're just like, man, this thing is just like killer.
For example, like you having that lower left panel where they're like toasting. You have the proper like silhouette against the sky guy saying skull, but behind the guy you have people who are backlit.
Yeah.
So you can like define the shape, but they're still in a silhouette. So it's like a silhouette within a silhouette. Very clever, man. Those are things that, like, now that I've seen it, I'm gonna use that. That's awesome, man. It's really, really cool. Great job.
And also, like, the idea of like this scene is like there's supposed to be a lot more Vikings that in the boat that
yeah,
that don't survive. So he focuses on the ones that you see are like basically the ones that do survive for like the first issue. So that's a little touch that he did. I thought was great. Oh, Shadowhawk, what up, man?
Yeah, what's up, Shadow?
Say hello to the chat real quick. We got Shadowhawk. Hey, buddy, thanks for coming by. How do you know our words? I listen.
Fantastic scene, man. Just
I
guess I cannot put it over enough.
I'll put that on the list. Booba.
Booba. Well, we got Hen. Just call me Hen.
Just call her Hen, everybody. Don't
What's up, Hen?
Anything else.
Yeah.
Howdy, Hen. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. Okay, so Edwin, let me ask you. This is an ongoing series, right?
This is gonna be a limited series. It's actually it's meant to be 3 books. I see it almost like a 3-part like HBO miniseries.
Oh, awesome!
The beginning, the middle, the end, and then we can kind of like, kind of close it up there. So the idea is basically the first one's mostly like introducing you to the characters, some like the story, the setup. Second issue is mostly kind of you see where the conflict kind of starts, and then the third one's kind of like the resolution. So it's kind of like a 3-play act, and that's kind of what we're going for in this one.
Absolutely, can't beat it. It's a solid structure. Was that like when you had the initial idea? Did you have the ending of the story right away? Some writers that'll like sort of spark the whole idea. What was the initial creation?
No, the initial idea was this actually started as a short story that I pitched to Alterna last year. So basically it was just like a little short 7-page story about Vikings who wash up on a strange island, and that was kind of it. Like one of my dreams as a creator was to get published by a comic book company, and thankfully Alterna's around to like support independent creators. And like I said, I pitched the story to Peter. He loved it, and we kind of made it happen. And he printed the first couple pages on it. It came out on a Wednesday, number 18. and it was awesome seeing my name in the credits there with a Kenneth Rockefeller cover and all that kind of fun stuff. So I could kind of check those off my bucket list. And then, I got some really good feedback for the story, and that's kind of like I started to kind of play with, all right, what happens after like the little twist at the end? What do we do now? So I spent basically the last couple months honing in on what the grand story was. Who is the White Leopard? Because the story is called Raid of the White Leopard. So you kind of, who is the White Leopard? What happens on the island? Where's the conflict? Where's this? Where's that? And I just kind of started writing a big kind of outline, and then breaking it down into issues, because I knew it was going to be 3 parts. So then I just kind of honed in on like that first issue, and then sent to Avery. He dug it, and then we just kind of got to work.
Wonderful. Awesome.
And all the artwork work is done on this. I just sent the proof, so it's good. Everything looks tight from the printers, and we're good.
Dude, awesome. Very nice. So all right, the proof. Kick ass. So is it right after this? There's 30 days left on the campaign, right?
Yeah, and it's a hard 30. Like, there will be no extensions. It ends because I plan on doing more projects later in the year. So I wanted to kind of just clear this out. So yeah, it's gonna end in 30 days, and you won't get another shot at this, especially that cover and kind of this version of it. Nice. Unless until I do book 2. So
right. Okay, let's say hello to the chat real quick. I see a friendly Gator, Mr. Good Stuff.
What up?
Hey, buddy. Yo, Edwin, he says, sup?
Thanks for
coming by. Good stuff. Appreciate you, buddy. So, okay, I imagine once the third project or the third book comes out, you'll be collecting this in a floppy volume, or?
I want like a big, nice hardcover, man. This is another one of my like dreams. I want like a nice sign I could slam down and just
nice.
We're gonna be like, this is the thing, because Ace is like an ongoing. So yeah, I'll be collecting. I'll be collecting like that in like soft cover volumes. Every 4 or 5 or whatever. So that's an ongoing. So nice. Yeah, but for like this, I would like to have this as a collection, and like I can see this like on my bookcase, nice little hardcover. It would be really dope to do. So
awesome. And actually, I think it's Mix'em or Comics Wellspring, one of the two. I know Mix'em's got a really bad rep, but I used them to print a book and didn't have an issue. But I know it can sort of be, you're up to the mercy there. But one of them is offering hardcovers as like an actually affordable option. So that's actually just been a recent-ish update that's been good for creators, I think. I want hardcovers of my stuff one day too. That's a dream of mine. Just something really sexy is the word I've been throwing around. It's got to be sexy. Okay, buddy. So we got a couple other things you've got going on. You do have a YouTube channel. Let me drop that in the chat. Could you tell us about the other stuff you've got going? You've got an Etsy store, I believe, or was it another type of store?
Just set up an Etsy store a couple of months ago. I had some extra copies of the Bloodbone Ash Can that I did, so I've been kind of selling them there. I think I got like only 8 copies left of that. I only printed like a limited amount, so if anybody wants them, that's the place to get them. Bloodbone Ash Can is so much fun. It's beautiful just looking. Like it's got a great foil cover, amazing art. Donald killed the art inside the book. It's just like a fun kind of story of this kind of like vigilante powerhouse who's trying to clean up his city. And I'm gonna be doing like a full number 1 of that sometime next year with Joe Ball. So
cool.
It'll be a lot of fun. Man. It's gonna be killer. Just pure action over the top, just bloody.
And you're just getting murders, man. Joe Ball.
Yeah, me and Joe have been talking about doing something for a while, and our schedules finally like freed up, and he was down to do it. So I was very happy. And
very nice, man. Congrats, man.
I want to bring up your Etsy store real quick. I just want to share that out. Okay, and then we'll get back to, before we leave, I want to hit the perks for.
Yeah, let's do. We didn't hit the perks.
Of course. Yeah, but let's take. So this is Bloodbone. Very freaking nice. Load up. This is the one thing I don't like about StreamYard. It doesn't reload.
What's happening?
I'm trying to share the actual comic
okay.
itself
Yeah.
on the screen. Alrighty, he says he's real quick. Good stuff.
What's up,
Smoking
good stuff?
intergalactic.
Oh, dude, I'm getting my brownie batch tomorrow, so it's gonna be interesting.
Panamanian weeds. Got a little sprinkle of that Colombian white in it, buddy.
No, dude, we have a place called El Valle, which is very temperate, and this lady is growing something called lavender kush, and it's nice, and they're making pastries out of it. So you get truffles and brownies, and I'm getting brownies tomorrow.
Beautiful. Nice. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah,
like a great time, yeah.
All right. So this is Bloodbone, dude. This is
there you go.
beautiful.
You gotta get a struck.
Man. Pringles.
Look at them potato chips.
Pringles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Is
Love that
foil?
floor cover. Yeah, beautiful.
Oh,
Just
dude,
so
awesome.
thick. It is. It came out absolutely fantastic. I was so
Mhm.
happy with it when I got it in my hand. I was like, "This is."
Yeah,
But
dude.
then Donald just killed the art inside, just very over the
Mhm.
top, just kind of well how he does it. So yeah,
Yeah, like
Really fun
Donald
book.
has a very like 90s animated animation style.
Yeah.
Kind of like what they did in Spawn and what they did in the Max. Like I see that Pedro in his artwork.
definitely, yeah.
So very like his not very like hatchy shadows, very blocky, but in the right place. So yeah, dude, this is Donald's another beast, man. So cool.
Nice.
Look at that.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Very nice.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean this especially getting a legit art team, as you mentioned, Joe
Mhm.
Ball, right? Ah, damn. Congrats, buddy. That's freaking awesome. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's hop back on over to the raid.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk some perks.
Yeah, let's talk them perks.
All right, cool. So we will start at the top here. We've got for $12 the digital copy. Very nice.
There you go.
Would you like to walk us through it, Edwin? The rest of it?
Yeah. So obviously, digital PDF will be sent. Probably it's looking like November for like fulfillment. So probably early November. Everybody who backed that will get an email for the file, so be able to enjoy that. Then you got the book, which is $15, and it's, I think 5 shipping in the U.S., 15 international there. So it's a
very solid price.
pretty affordable for especially shipping is going up all across the board, so it's not easy to get these books out to people. So
yeah, $5 is a very fair price.
Mhm.
and we had a lot of people wonder why we did like a Canada shipping. I had a backer who's having trouble with his information, so we just created like a Canada only basically tier for him, and he was able to kind of back the book and kind of work out the little hitch there. So that's why that's there. But you can, if you're Canadian, you can choose the regular option. It does ship worldwide, so we'll get it out to you wherever you're at. Like I said, do have 3 fulfilled campaigns. Ace 1, Ace 2, and Bloodbone. They've been shipped out. Everybody's gotten their books, so you don't have to worry about this. It'll get
Solid track record. There you go. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, then
Very
you
nice.
got the 2-book tier there at $25.
Very nice.
Yeah, so you can, especially if you're international, that's like a great option. You and a friend can kind of split the cost of it. You get a bit of a discount on it too. So, or you just want 2 copies to have, one to read, one to like save. All that you can do that too. So
Mhm.
Okay, and then already sold out. Very nice.
There you go.
Anything else?
had a bunch of
Hey-o.
sketch card bundles. Basically, we offered a sketch card and the book. We had guys like Shelby Robertson, Joe Ball, Brandon Diaz. We have some that haven't sold out. Like there, you see Michael Beacon did one. There's a couple more that are still available for anybody who's interested. A lot of talented. Passion has another one there. That colored one is beautiful. Did a great job with that. And then Eric Nilotowski did a couple. So I just got those in, so I just put those up.
Sick. Right on. And here we got something. Oh, an original page.
Original
Nice.
art
There.
pages. I think there's 4 left. So all the Viking pages were the ones that I had, so they're
They're really
fantastic.
sold out. Nice.
So we got like 4 left there. So anybody wants
Nice.
it, really affordable.
Yeah.
Avery is just like a beast. And so much detail, so much just like good stuff on these. So if anybody's a fan of the book or Avery or just likes dope Viking art, you can go snatch one up.
There's something really satisfying about physical art in your hands when it's got, for me, because I like heavy shadows, but like that big backdrop right there, that big silhouette, just seeing all that black on a page contrast to the rest of everything is like really satisfying feeling. Very nice. Okay, awesome. So is going forward, are you strictly on Fund My Comic, or are you doing IGG as well, or are you?
Yeah, I plan on doing every kind of crowdfunding that'll have me eventually. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out where Ace 3. It probably looks like it'll go on Indiegogo just because the first 2 launch there. But yeah, I think I'll be trying out each and every crowdfunding site. I think it's just about kind of getting out there, getting my name and my projects in front of as many people as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're Kickstarterers here as well. I know that's whatever, but okay, very nice. Alrighty, so is there anything else we'd like to add before getting ready to wrap it up here? We got a couple minutes. I've got your stuff in the chat here. We'll check out Edwin's YouTube show, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just stay tuned. If you're following me on Twitter, that's kind of the best place to get all the announcements for anything that I do. But I think I'm going to be putting up one more tier for the next month that's coming up, this last month. So I'll stay tuned for that. I'm just waiting to get the art in before I announce it, but probably next 2-3 days I should have another tier, maybe some more sketch cards. I do have a couple more that I'm waiting on, so you might see a couple more things pop up on the if you missed out, you can you can grab them.
Very nice. Okay, great. Awesome. And let me share this in the chat one more again. Alrighty. Very nice. Okay, so alrighty. Well, Edwin, we'll go ahead and wrap her up here. We're coming up on an hour. We can keep the show at a tight hour for everybody's sanity, of course.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us, man, and giving us
Yeah,
the time
dude.
today.
I'm at that for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah, dude, the book looks awesome, man. Like I'm stunned.
Stoned.
Yeah,
I almost said
So I'm
stoned. Buddy,
stoned.
get some of those
I almost say I'm
brownies.
stoned. I'm just thinking about the brownies, man. Sorry. I'm stunned by the art.
So good.
I'm gonna be
It's hot.
stoned tomorrow. But
Yeah, I think people are really gonna love it. As you see, that's the proof right there.
ooh, look at that.
Full screen. Oh my word.
Dude.
You've been
Don't
holding
give
out
away
on us.
too many spoilers, but
Ooh, look at that. Shiny.
Nice, bro.
Wow, dude.
it's mostly because of the light that's on in front of me.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
still
it,
good.
dude. That's happened with the spoilery element of it. Just get that sheen on it so people can't really see it. But dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, dude, that's incredible. Congrats on having the project complete already and just waiting to. Yeah, that's just huge.
Ready to go to print.
So, how soon after this closes are you launching your next project, or you doing a pre-launch for it? Can you give us a little?
I'm thinking of doing Ace 3 in September. Nothing's kind of locked in yet. It's being colored right now, so I gotta kind of weigh. I want to have as much of it done as possible, which is kind of
cool.
One of the things, when I'm in campaign mode, it's just I want to just focus on the book. I don't want to have to be tracking down people to finish. So I try to get as much of it down. So I might just postpone it, depending, and maybe do a second chance for Bloodbone. I've kind of I think a lot of people kind of slept on it when I first launched it. So maybe use Fund My Comic to do like a new cover for it and just kind of relaunch the Ash Can. I think it'd be dope. Because like I said, I think the number one with me and Joe is going to be sick. And I think I want as many people to kind of be caught up as possible. So that's an option. And so, maybe doing like another Ace 1 and 2, second chance also, on Fund My Comics. There's different options that I'm looking at right now. But yeah, in the next couple of months, like I said, stay tuned to my Twitter account, and I'll kind of like break down the news for everybody officially. But yeah, I'm planning on having some more campaigns in the next probably like 6 to 8 months. You'll be seeing a lot of me on different platforms and stuff. So
Right on. Well, you're always welcome back here, buddy. And if you do
Thank
Blood
you.
Bone, definitely come back so we can
Yeah,
talk that. And
Yeah, the doors are always open, man.
yeah. So, all right, buddy, we're going to go ahead and bump you to the back, and we'll end the show. You're free to stay. You're free to go. I'll just go ahead and thank you again for joining us.
yeah, man. Thank you.
And,
You guys rock, man. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank
dude,
you,
that's
buddy.
awesome, man.
You made my day with a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah, dude,
All right.
I'm gonna be
Thank you.
insufferable now.
All right. That is you on a good day, anyways.
Yeah.
All right. So now, thanks again to Edwin for coming by, and our fantastic chat. Lots of friendly faces. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
Shadowhawk, appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, dude. Everybody is complimenting my brownies, man. It's gonna be nice.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Sure.
Neo Star, Stefan. I'll be lettering his project here. Keep your eyes peeled for that.
Riser Man. Or Riser Man or Riser Man? It's Riser Man.
Riser
right?
Man.
Riser Man.
Yeah. The pebble in the boot of evil, my friend.
Of evil. That's right. Dude, like I want to animate that character. I don't know. Like,
Just call her Hen. Hen, thank you for coming by.
Neo Star, let's make that happen.
Oh,
Animated
sure.
trailer for Riser Man.
Oh,
Talk to me.
shit.
Talk to me.
Okay. Red Dress, Chris, thanks for coming
Hey.
by, buddy. And I believe Judge Dredd, God damn, I forget Judge Dredd on my front door.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by, Joseph. Appreciate you, man. And everybody else whom I believe I said hello to and goodbye.
Yeah, dude.
And okay, everyone. So let me see who we got next week.
Mm.
Actually, hold on. Let me check. Is next week 4th of July? I think next week 4th of July.
Yeah, next week it's 4th of July. Let me check the good old calendar here.
We're off
Next
4th
week?
of July.
Yeah, it's 4th of July.
Yeah, we're off 4th
I
of
don't
July.
know.
Obviously, Independence Day. I'm going to be
It depends.
hot dogs.
It depends on you. 'Cause we
Yeah.
don't celebrate the American Independence Day in Panama. So to me, it's just Tuesday. So it's up to you.
Well, I have already not booked somebody for that show, so
Okay.
I'll probably be having that one off. Unless somebody desperately needs my time on the 4th of July, I will.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. I mean,
The,
November 3rd, though, which is like the Panamanian Independence Day, like not even I care. So if November 3rd is on a Tuesday, I'll do a show because I'm that committed, Ginge.
All right. I will keep that in mind. And maybe we will just do a show on that day to force you to celebrate Panamanian independence. So
There you
backfire.
go. There you go.
But no, the following week we come back with Joe Catapano racing into studio to talk Star
Hell yeah.
Circuit number 2.
It's awesome.
And that'll be fun. Star Circuit's one of my most favorite projects in CG. And then the following week, another friend returning, Dionysus from the Tome of Reckoning, a
There
fellow
you go.
Floridian, a very nice
Yeah.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg says, I can't afford to celebrate Independence Day because of all of the economic slavery and all.
Yeah, well, that will dampen the celebration. Yes.
And it's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. I mean, there is a really bad time for fireworks and barbecue, though.
Oh, dude, speaking about barbecue, I just made porchetta on Sunday, dude. That's like you grab a pork belly and you roll it like a cigarette, and then you make it on indirect fire, and then you like make little like holes on the skin so it will like bleed out and make like this nice chicharron surrounding it. Oh, it was awesome.
Is it crunchy on the outside?
It's crunchy on the outside. It's crunchy on the outside, and inside you marinate it with fennel seed. It was fennel seed, thyme, oregano, lemon peel, orange peel, salt and pepper.
Beautiful.
Dude, it was awesome.
Delish. Sounds delish, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, gang, we'll go ahead and let you go since I'm prone to keeping the show going.
That you are. That you do. Yes.
Yeah, we'll skip that this week, and we will see you all in a week and a half or 2 weeks on the Ginger Pedro Show.
Take care, everybody.